Okay, students, we are going to create a watercolor nebula. Okay, so for this lesson, here are the supplies we will need. We will need watercolor paper, a napkin or towel or two, watercolor paint, painter's tape, white acrylic paint for the stars, 2 containers of water, 3 different sized soft paint brushes, and a toothbrush. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you will do is put your first and last name on your paper and what period you're in, and then you're going to turn that over. Make sure that you do put your tape as close to the edges as possible. Now, taping down our paper will help to prevent the paper from buckling or warping. Okay, so we will be using our big paintbrush first, but before we start, make sure that you have the colors that you are going to use ready. You want all of your colors ready to paint because you don't want your paint drying out in between colors. So make sure you have them set aside and ready to go. Next, you're going to use your larger paintbrush and water, and you're going to paint your paper with the water. Now make sure all your paper is wet with the water, but don't soak it. Do not leave any dry spots. And how you can tell if there's any dry spots is by looking to the side of your paper so that you can see the light shining on it, and that's how you can tell. Now the reason we are doing this is when you start adding the color, the watercolor will spread out to give it more of the look and feel of the nebula. So now we will start laying down our first color, and I'm going to start with the color red. Okay, make sure it's all mixed up really well. Now I will start laying down paint in blobs rather than painting in a motion back and forth to help create natural cloud-like shapes. Now once I'm satisfied with the colors that I have put down, I will make sure to rinse my brush very, very well and then wipe it off on a paper towel. And as I did with the red, I am blobbing the other color as well. And I'm starting on the outsides and working in because in the middle, I plan to leave a little bit of white for a white cloud. So pretty much just play around with your colors, see what you come up with, and have fun. Now once I do have the colors laid down, I start swishing my brush rather than blobbing, and this helps to blend the colors as well. Now I'm going to start adding my darker background sky to the top, going down as I blend. Then I will take water and blend these colors together. So I just dip my brush in the water, wipe it off on the side like this, very well, and then put it on the paper towel and then blend them together. And I use a dabbing motion for this. So you do want to create gradient values. You can do that by picking up some of the paint with a napkin or by adding more paint. So it's up to you, just play around with it. Most of this is just experimenting. So I'm just going to add some bits and pieces of red paint here and maybe over here. Then I will blend it. So now to create more of a gradient color of red going from lighter to darker, I'm going to add some blue on this side as well. So remember, most of this is just experimenting. So I just go back in with blue, go back in with red, go back in with water, blend the colors together. Just experiment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so that you can see the finished product a lot quicker and you won't have to wait and watch me paint, okay? Now once you have everything down, you can go back in with darker colors to create more of a contrast, as I'm doing here. And to soften up your lines, you can also go back in with just a washed paintbrush that has no paint on it, and just use some water to soften up your lines. But make sure that your paintbrush isn't soaked with water, okay? Using a paintbrush with just water will help blend those colors together. Okay, so I'm pretty much finished with my nebula except for adding the stars, and I will just do this with a toothbrush and some acrylic paint, and then I'll show you when I'm finished. Okay, so my nebula dried and I added the stars. Some of them I did with a toothbrush. Some of them I just took some paint with a pen and added the dots. And this is it completed. I had a lot of fun. I hope you do too.